Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and I am super excited for today's video because my husband is going to be picking my February TBR. Alright, so yeah, I want to do a different method of picking my TBR every single month this year. I think it's going to be fun for you guys, and I'm also very excited to just switch it up a little bit every month. And I figured this month, in honor of Valentine's Day, it would be a good month to bring my husband into the picture and let him pick out, let's say, 6 books. I'm assuming I'm gonna read more like 8 to 10. February is a short month, so maybe 8. But I'll have him pick out 6 books, and that will give me a little bit of room to pick out a couple of the ones that I really want to get to if he doesn't pick them out first. And my only guidelines for him are going to be that he has to pick 6 books from these shelves. This is not my whole TBR, but I do like to, like every season or so, just refresh the books on these shelves. But yeah, I'm guessing he'll just end up picking the 6 books that speak out to him. So without further ado, let's jump over to Ryan and have him pick the TBR.
I don't know if you guys can see my dog, Bernard. He scratched me in the face. Hey everyone, it's Ryan. I'm Allie's husband. She has requested that I look at her bookshelf on the books that she hasn't read yet and pick out 6 books that I would like her to read this year. So the first and the easiest one is a book that actually was recommended to me by one of my best friends. He has, I don't want to say a bad habit, he just has a habit of recommending me books to read. Not because, I mean, partly because I think he thinks I'll like the book, but more so because he wants to talk to me about the book and what happens in it. So I kind of want to do the same to Allie. This is a book that I read last year. It's called Red Rising. I read the whole series. I think the original 3 books, and then there were 2 more afterwards. I finished all of them. It is funny, she already has, I can see like a little bookmark in here. I think that she may have even started like the first chapter. But this is like a sci-fi, it's set in the future. It's a very good book. I like it a lot. I've heard mixed reviews on whether people like it or not. I think that because she liked the Mistborn series, because I recommended that to her after my friend recommended it to me, I think that she'll like this. So that'll be the first one that we pick for her to read this year. The next one is, I was looking through here. I have no idea what genre this is. The author's name looks familiar. Robert Galbraith. This book I am picking solely because of the title, The Running Grave, and the fact that it is super thick. I like reading big books. Allie, I feel like, does read a lot of big books, but she's more of, you know, the smaller ones that maybe you can bang out in a couple days. This one's going to be a long read for her, so just looking at the back, it looks like there's a private detective, you know, contacted by a father that his son may have been brought in to a cult. I think this will be a cool book for her to read. The next book, oh, okay, we'll do this one. I have never read this book, but I've wanted to. So this is the Hillbilly Eulogy, or is it Elegy? Eulogy. I think the eulogy is when you like die and someone gives a eulogy. It's by J.D. Vance, obviously our vice president now. But I've heard a lot of people really like the book. I heard a lot of people really like the movie. Obviously not being political or anything, but like before he was even in public office, I think a lot of people thought that this was a good story. So this will be something that I think will be cool for her to read. Well, this looks good. I like this title. The Time Traveler's Wife. A time travel love story. So I don't know if Allie's ever mentioned this in any of her other videos, but she is a huge fan of Back to the Future. It's her favorite movie. So this has time travel, that has time travel. We'll just draw that comparison and say, this is what she's going to read too. Maybe I'll have her read it, and then as a, if it's not great and she doesn't like it that much, as a consolation prize, her and I can watch Back to the Future together. Let's look at this bottom shelf. I feel like I cannot really see these that well. What is this? This is the tiniest little book. It's funny, I feel like some of these books I've selected not because, you know, I think that she'll really enjoy them. It's more so that because of the way, like, proportionality, they look bigger, or like the title's real big across the back. This one's just so tiny. I'm going to put it in here specifically because I just want her to read it. I am probably going to butcher the way that this is said, but it looks like it's Galati. It's by Madeline Miller. She was the author of The Song of Achilles. This is a short story, also set in ancient Greece. We're just going to put this in not as one of our 6, but just because I think she should read it because it's tiny. Then it'll get it. She can write another title on her books that I've read this year. This one looked interesting, and I'm just curious. It's called The Bee Sting by Paul Miller. And this book is about the Barnes family. They're in trouble. They have a car business that's going under, but Dickie is spending his days in the woods building a bunker. His wife is selling off all her jewelry, dodging attention, the infamous bee sting that ruined her wedding day to the crash a year before. So this just looks like it's a story about the life of a family. I don't know if this is based on a true story or if it's fiction. Allie loves reading books that are like historical fiction. So there's like kind of parts and bits and pieces of it that are about certain time periods or areas, but they have fictitious characters and events. But she loves like the mix of the history along with the fiction. So we'll put this over there. Also, it's another big book. I just have a bias of reading big books. I feel like the story is just so much better when there's so much more to read through. The last one of Allie's favorite, I don't know if it is her favorite book series of all time, is the Harry Potter books. And this one I saw includes magic. So this is A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. Looks like it's just kind of like a bit of a fantasy book. It's about a girl who goes on the half moon hunt after she sees some mythical creatures in the woods. So looks like there's a bit of a love story just by the way that the cover looks with the 2 characters there. So again, Allie likes magic. Allie also enjoys a little bit of romance in her books too. Going through our books, we're going to do A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. Hopefully I pronounced that right. The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. We've included Galati, just because it's very tiny, and again, it'll give her another book to add to her I read this year. The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Nilfinger. Hope I said that right too. And then The Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. The Running Grave by Robert Galbraith. Certainly the largest book that I'll have her read. And then the one that I'm most excited for her to read, which is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And hopefully I can get her to read this and then potentially read the other books in the series too. I just want to get a reaction. There's a lot that happens in the book. It's very good. So those are the books I've decided to give to her, and I think she's going to come in here and we're going to see what her reaction is to this. Again, show the people the damage caused by that puppy. Scratched my face. Gibby said, "Why does Bernard get the attention?"
Why are you resisting?
His arms like just straight out.
Jeez.
No. All right, so we're going to go through the books again. I know that I just showed them to you, but we're going to get Allie's reaction. So the first one she knew this was coming was Red Rising.
I was expecting that one. Yeah.
I told him the story that Tom always recommends me books. Not because, I think that he knows that I'll like them, but because he wants to talk to me about the book. So I recommend this to you so that you can talk to me about this book too.
I've been wanting to start the series.
No, I think you already did start it a little bit.
Oh,
We found a little...
That was like 8 months ago. I got like 5 pages in. I forgot that. Yeah.
Now you'll be able to start it again.
I just wasn't in the mood for
the next one. We're going to save these last 2 because they're funny. This is why I picked them. This one, and I did clarify, this is not political. It's just because I think that it's a really good story.
I think a lot of people would agree.
Many people thought this was a great movie, great book. So the Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. I think it'll give you a little bit of insight so that maybe you can know our current sitting vice president better as well.
That's good because I like to read one nonfiction a month, one nonfiction, one classic. So that is a good nonfiction pick.
There you go.
Maybe you picked another one too. We'll see.
We'll see. This one is The Time Traveler's Wife.
Okay.
I chose this, I told the people very specifically because you like Back to the Future and there's time travel in that, so that's the correlation we drew.
Well, have you seen the movie?
Never heard of it, never seen it, no idea what it's about.
The movie's good.
But
and I do want to do a week, or like a YouTuber week, a 5-day week this month where I read romances for a week. And I don't like to read contemporary romances that are very popular. So I like romances like this, where there's some kind of like fantastical or historical fiction element to it. So that will be good. That's good that takes up a spot from you.
Then we have The Bee Sting. Chose it because it had a unique name. Also, side note, I'm deathly allergic to bees. So maybe in here you will learn how to save my life if I got stung by a bee.
It's called Get an EpiPen. But you're actually doing a good job of like I like to read a wide variety of genres, like one of each genre. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I picked this book.
This is like a good literary fiction saga. I've been really excited to read this.
I told the people...
I'm calling top 10. We'll see.
I told the people that you like reading historical fiction, and it seemed like there was a lot about the area and the people, and but I don't know if the story is really real or not. Then, my 5th book, A Far Wilder Magic.
This one I could also read during reading romance for a week, so that's perfect.
I picked this one because you like Harry Potter and it had magic. So
yeah, I think it's definitely fantasy, maybe magical realism, I'm not sure, but I've been wanting to read this author, so I've heard good things. That's one of my favorite covers.
Allison Saft.
I have no idea. I mispronounce everything.
I'm sure half the authors. Then I have 2 more books. I know that you said to pick 6, but I picked 7, mostly because the one book I picked you
because I thought
is very tiny.
Well, I thought I'd have to pick some romances, and that's like so tiny.
So small. So I did this because they're a contrast to each other. I picked the biggest book you had.
Yeah.
And then the smallest book.
But this is another one that if you hadn't picked it, I would have picked it.
Well, there you go.
And that one evens out, so.
Yeah, this one's going to be very, very tiny. I literally picked this one and this one because they're so small. So small and so big.
No, you honestly, like, if I had to pick my TBR just on my own, I would have picked, I swear, 5 out of 7 of those. Truly.
Which one would you not have picked? Red Rising, probably, because that's the one I like the most.
Yeah, I maybe wouldn't have picked Red Rising this month, but I would have picked a lot of these books. Yeah.
Mommy hurt Daddy's feelings.
The only genres that you didn't really pick that I read a lot of are thrillers. So I said earlier that I was going to pick maybe like 8 total. Like you pick 6, I picked 2 more. So maybe I'll just pick like 1 more book and maybe you'll pick a good thriller.
Stephen King, The Gunslinger. That sounds like a good book.
I don't know if it's a thriller. I think it's not quite horror either. I don't know. Almost more like fantasy.
I can't do that, can I?
Ooh, you know what I'm going to pick for thriller this month is Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham, just because there is a book festival in a few weeks. It's like mid-February in this area where we live, Somerville, South Carolina, and Stacey Willingham is going to be there. So just in case I bump into her, it would be nice to be like, oh, I just read your book, you know.
Wow.
I have read 1 book from her before. Also, Grady Hendrix is going to be there because they're both Charleston locals, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they live here now, but I'm pretty sure they're both from the area.
Well,
so that's really cool.
That's your TBR for February.
Yeah, that was good. I'm like genuinely impressed. I was really worried you were going to pick a lot of books that I didn't want to read, and then I'd have to pick other ones to like do the challenges that I wanted to do.
Sometimes I could just be surprising. I can just surprise you, you know?
Yeah, I knew you were going to pick Red Rising. I knew you were going to pick that one because we were just talking about it.
Of course.
And if I had, what the heck's it called?
If you'd had any of Mistborn Era 2, I would have picked that too. Yeah. I said you have to finish you have to finish it. You finished the first one. You gotta finish the series.
Well, I like to read a variety each month.
Who do you think is gonna live and die?
Spoiler, jeez.
It's a Brandon Sanderson book. There are many characters that will die. It's just the way it goes.
But maybe if you guys want to see it, I am in the middle of so many series, which I'm going to do a whole video on that, all the series I'm in the middle of, and if I'm going to continue them. But let me know if you want to see more videos of me like finishing a whole series in that one video, like reading books back to back to back, because I do tend to forget a bit. We'll see. But I like to also talk about a variety of books each month. But that could be fun. Maybe I'll do that with the Mistborn Era too.
Gibby's getting old. Look at his gray face.
Aww.
I don't like it.
Gibby is as old as our marriage, so that's a weird thought.
He'll turn 7 in March.
Yeah. Let me know if you want to see Ryan in more videos. And we are going to be traveling up north where my family is in a month or so. So I do want to do a video with my sister who was an English literature major. So I think that would be fun for her to recommend her favorite books because she reads a lot different books than I do. She reads a lot of like heavier classics, more philosophical kind of stuff.
If you want to read with me, we can read books together, but I do Audible.
Well, I do want to do a lot more vlogs this year, so you'll definitely see Ryan in those videos, and you'll see our good boys.
Gibby and Bernard. Bernard's sleeping. Gibby is here against his will.
If you like this video, please make sure to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.